So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 terms that you must learn as a new painter. My channel helps beginner painters make the art they want to make in their mind, but they don't know how. I share painting tips and techniques that I've learned over the years, tools that I use, as well as tips on starting an online art business and traveling for artists. So the 5 terms that you must know as a painter. The first one is composition. Okay, first one, composition. This is basically the layout of your painting, like where you want the focus to be. So I'm actually going to be making another video about this specifically because I feel like there's a lot of confusing information out there. Like, I was looking on Pinterest and there were like these little charts and like little drawings, and it didn't really make sense to me. So in that video, I'm going to break it down so that it can make more sense and that we can apply it to our own art. Okay, so that's composition. Number 2, it's 2 words, but I put them together because they're very interrelated. That is hue and value. So hue is basically the color, and value is how light or dark the color is. So I actually have an example. So I have these 4 pens here. Okay, can we see? Yes. We have these 4 pens, and they're all green, and we have a lighter green over here and a darker green, but they're all green. Okay, so these are the different values. This is helpful when you're mixing colors, and like you're painting a tree, for example. Like, we have green, you can make a tree. If you are painting a tree and you're observing, like from life, like you're observing this tree, you're going to notice that there's going to be some dark areas in the shadow. You're going to go for the darker colors. For the parts of the tree that are like the overall tree color, you're going to use a mid-tone. Okay. And then for the brighter parts of the tree, the highlights, the parts of the tree where the sun is shining through like brightly, you're going to use a lighter color. Okay, so the value, understanding like value can really help you mix colors to make deeper colors or lighter colors, things like that. All right, so the next word is contrast. So contrast is basically when 2 opposite kind of colors or shades or values are next to each other. So you think high contrast, black and white. You can even do purple and yellow. A very light pink and like a deep burgundy red. So, and they're right next to each other. So that's contrast. That is helpful when you're painting so it can also like help guide the viewer to like a focal point. A high contrast area can be like it can attract the viewer's eyes. Okay, and the 4th word is reference. So a reference is basically an image that artists can use as a model for their work. Now, the reason I want you to know this now is because a reference is a great tool to take you from the idea that you have to getting it on the paper. You may not be well versed in drawing a human figure or a hand, so it doesn't hurt to use a reference. Many professional painters use references. I mean, yes, you can practice with practice you'll get better. But for right now, like it's good to see a good example of what you're trying to draw or paint rather, and then you can use that as a tool. And then you see, okay, this is how I am going to draw these hands. Okay, I wanted to get a hand like this. I'm going to use a reference. You can make your own reference. It doesn't have to be something from someone else. You can take a photo of, you can arrange some objects, take a photo of that, or you can observe those objects, like a still life. I mean, I know a still life, that's like another vocabulary word, but that's, we can get into that another time. But yeah, references are great for having a model, you know what I mean? You can also make a reference by combining images. You can do it digitally, or you can do it with magazine papers. If you like the head on this picture and you want to add it to the body of another picture and then use that as a reference, you can do that. All right, and then last term today is limited palette. So a palette, this is like the colors that you're using. So the reason I want to focus on limited palettes is because they can help you make a cohesive painting, a cohesive looking painting. When you mix colors from a limited palette, it sort of like controls the ranges of the colors. Like for instance, like if you are painting a landscape and it's kind of like a moody landscape, and then it has some purple flowers, it might, if you want the painting to be like a moody look, it would be best to mix with the muted blues and reds that are already in your limited palette, rather than using like an electric purple. You know what I mean? It can, I mean, unless, of course, like with art, like you can do it however you want to do it, but limited palettes can help just sort of like bring everything together in a really nice way. So an example of a limited palette, you can think of your primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. There's also a palette called the Zorn palette, which was created by a guy whose name was Zorn. And he, it was like, oh gosh, I mean, we don't have to talk about this, but like it included a black, a warm red, and like a golden yellow and white. Okay, he was an oil painter, so white. And yeah, so basically, yeah, like you can make all the colors that you want with a limited palette, and especially if you're starting out in the beginning, you definitely don't want to buy, like, you don't need to buy all of the colors that are in a collection. You can buy just a few and you can make all the colors from that. And it'll be like the finished result will be like pretty cohesive. All right. So if there are any thoughts about the vocabulary words, are there any words that you think that beginners should know? Leave a comment below. I encourage you to, I encourage you to like and subscribe and turn on notifications. And also check out some of my other videos. I have another video coming up called 5 Ways to Get Inspiration for New Painters. So like I would turn on notifications so you can tune into that when that comes out. All right. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.